Good morning, Drive Radio fans. Richard Rush here along with John Rush. And today we are going to be reviewing the 2014 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro Edition. Now we'll clarify something here. This car is not in production yet. You cannot go out and buy this. We'll actually show you when you get inside. It's a pre-production prototype vehicle that Toyota was kind enough to give us for just a few days here while it was in town for a little bit. Didn't get to take it off-roading at all, but we got a feel for what it would be and to give you a solid review. So with that being said, let's take a look.
Here we go.
All right, so the first thing that you might notice on this is the front end, and I will say this is probably one of the meanest front ends that you will find on any car. So if Toyota sticks with this, which usually if they're giving cars to the press like this, they're most likely going to stick with this car. It's just not quite.
Well, yeah, I mean
they've
gone through enough of a design on the car where it's done, it's produced. This car, you know, you can drive on the road. It is a pre-production vehicle, so the fit and finish and everything isn't going to be quite what you would normally find. But they've gone through all of the headaches, if you would, of getting this thing on the road, you know, approved to drive, etc. So to Richard's point, they're testing the market, trying to figure out if this is a vehicle that'll sell. This was at the Denver Auto Show.
It was.
So some of you that were here in the Denver market saw this exact same vehicle. And real quick, Richard can point out, but you know, it's got different tire and wheel combination, which you can see. It's got a larger tire on it, larger tire and wheel package. If I can get in here and you can see this, it's going to be kind of hard. You can see.
Turn your head on the
That's
screen.
all right. Turn your head on the screen. You can see it's got a lifted spring package in the front. They've done the same thing on the rear. I don't have exact specs, but being in the four-wheel drive industry as long as I've been, I'm guessing it's got around a 2.5 to 3 inch lift on it from the factory. The rear, which again, it's hard to see in here, remote reservoir shocks, which any of you that are in the industry, you'll know what I mean by that. It's got some beefier trailing arms back here in the back. Really, you know, Richard and I both really like the color. We've got differences of opinions on the color, and again, that'll be a separate thing when they ever, you know, if they ever come out with this vehicle, which they're planning on doing. I think you'll see them come out with this. They see there's a niche in the marketplace for it, and I think they probably will.
Well, and Randy at the auto show, which we got some exclusive interviews with him, so check our YouTube channel for that. He talked specifically about the TRD series and how Toyota really is going to be pushing this. So this is something that I think you will see here in the very near future. And keep in mind, it's not just an add-on package for the 4Runner, but it is an add-on for the Tacoma and the Tundra as well. So you can, if you want a truck, if you want a nice full-size truck, we'll get on the inside in a little bit. But one thing that Toyota has done for luxury vehicle or feel is you can tell right here that it's hidden the windshield wiper again. It's added the flares that you can see even on the front end of it. So they still have added quite a bit of a luxurious feel, or a more
in fact, once we get to the inside of it, you'll see what we're talking about. Even though it's a trail ready vehicle, to Richard's point, they've left some things in it that are still very nice, very high end, and you know, and you're seeing that even in a lot of the other vehicles, the Jeep Unlimited and you know, the Rubicon editions, etc. You know, you're seeing the manufacturers still go after that high-end luxury market, all with a still very capable, very ready off-road vehicle. So Richard, let's head to the I'll tell you what, let's go do our driving test real quick. When we come back, we'll do the interior. How does that sound?
Sounds good. All right, fans, we're here for the driving portion, and hopefully you guys can get an idea, which this is going to be easy terrain for this vehicle, but this car does drive smooth, as you'll kind of see as we go along. Some of the interior features that it does have, similar to a normal 4Runner, it does have a backup camera. Not going to show you that. You can check out the other review. Our same great in-tune system that we really do love out of the Toyota family. It's one of our favorites, if not our most favorite system. As far as the interior goes, it really has some of the same features as before. Dad, you'd mentioned that the visibility of not only sitting up higher, but it seemed, I think that's the main factor in it, that you're able to see more of the road, see more of what's going on.
Yeah, no, I like the way it sits up. Of course, I've always liked lifted vehicles. I was in that industry for, you know, almost 30 years, and I know that side of it very well, and I like it. I like what they've done with this vehicle. It's pretty cool. I think the vehicle will sell. Richard asked me earlier, Dad, what do you think of this vehicle versus the FJ that we just reviewed, which, by the way, these will be very close together as far as reviews goes, because we've done them all in the same week, essentially. That's a toss-up. I don't know, if you're looking for more space inside, looking for a more versatile vehicle as far as hauling cargo, passengers, more luxury, etc., I'd have to kind of shift towards this particular vehicle than I would the FJ. Same token, I think the FJ over time will probably hold its value, although, and we've talked about this on the radio show a lot, this particular vehicle, if and when they do make it, being it will be limited production runs, it'll be a package that they put on it. Typically they don't make as many of them as they do the rest of the mainstream, you know, 4Runners. In that particular case, I think this would be the one I would buy, just because I think down the road it'll hold its value better. So that's a side note.
You're exactly right, and I think personally it's kind of what you want. If you want a car that you could just cruise on the weekends with, I would say the FJ would probably be that car for you if you want to go up four-wheeling. But if this car is, you want to use it around, you want to use it for both features. You want to use it off-road and you want to use it on-road, whether it's with your family or whatever it may be. I think that this car is perfect for that.
Well, and I'll jump in real fast. If you're looking at this vehicle versus a Jeep Unlimited, Rubicon even, sorry, I mean, I know they're not the same vehicle exactly, but they'll have similar capabilities, especially for the average everyday guy going up camping, fishing, four-wheeling, etc. No, if you're going to do hardcore rock crawling, etc., yeah, you guys are a whole separate market. Disregard anything I just said. You're going to criticize me anyway, so you're in a different market, so that's a whole different ball game. But for the average everyday user looking for something that's a lot heavier duty than the typical 4Runner, will this vehicle suffice? Most definitely, and give you a lot more comfortable ride and interior than the Jeep. Sorry, Jeep, but that's just the way it is. You can go drive this vehicle and go drive the Jeep, and this one's going to be more luxurious and more comfortable. So
it is,
and more room inside. So there's the answer.
Yep. And well, with that being said, we'll kind of take it and show you the rear view of the car, and then we'll take you on the interior, and we'll be done. So thanks for joining us.
Okay, we're also going to take just a second here and show you one feature this vehicle has that is kind of a cool feature, which gives you the ability to dial in the terrain. So you can see the knob Richard's pointing to, all the lights light up. Now, as he turns that dial to the different modes, I want to show you down here on the dash, if I can get it to actually zoom in here. So there we go. So once Richard turns the dial, it actually tells you where you're at, and then it tells you what to do with the vehicle. So it's really intuitive. It basically is explaining to you, if you're a novice, don't know exactly what to do as far as four-wheel drive and all that stuff goes, it tells you exactly what you need to do, how you need to shift the transfer case, all those sorts of things. So it's kind of a cool feature. You know, everybody else kind of has their own little claim to fame, but this is kind of a cool feature. I like it, actually. So another function of the Toyota 4Runner TRD version that, as Richard said earlier, is not made yet. Hopefully they will.
Okay, fans, we're here at the rear portion of the vehicle after our driving test. Hopefully you enjoyed that.
We're at John's least favorite portion of the review because I hate the 4Runner back end, and why they don't put an automatic hatch on it is beyond me.
Well, and it doesn't, so it still has your typical pull-down handle for that. But if you can, and Dan, if you can get in here, it does have your full back row. It doesn't have the third row option. I'm not quite sure on the TRD if they will add the third row. My guess is probably not, because this car is made to be driven off-road. Exactly.
Very spacious
and you can actually throw down the front seats. It has the headrest fold down. You don't have to pull them
middle
out.
Seats fold down.
Well, the middle seats fold down and gives you a full. So if it was just you and a buddy, or you and a spouse,
even that much more cargo room. So yeah, Richard, show them real quick my complaint on how you shut this. So for a lady, this is a pain in the rear.
So you either have to pull down here, go here to here, or it has the two handles up top, pull down. Whereas on the Highlander, for example, you can just push a button, goes down automatically. The Venza, the other.
Sorry, SUVs. Toyota, it's just still one of my complaints. So Richard, tell you what, real quick, that's the back end. Let's jump inside and we'll do the interior. I'll cut it right there. We'll just come inside and do this. Oh, you haven't shut the camera off. It's still running.
That's fine.
Actually, I'm gonna step into the vehicle.
Yeah, well, because that gives an idea of how. You want me to turn it on or no?
No, just right. We'll start it when we go to the test drive.
Okay.
All right, so Richard, now we're back up here to the interior. We did the back seat, and I'm going to jump to the back, or sorry, we jumped to the front seat. I'll go to the middle seat in this case. Like Richard says, we're not sure if they're ever going to have a third seat in this particular model, but here we go. Let's talk about the front. You can see nice piping that they've done on this vehicle. If I can get my shadows out of the way, nice pipe stitching, they call that. Stitching, not piping, I should say, the offset stitching.
It does have the leather like we talked about, and you can see from the interior, it has more of a familiar to a high-end trail edition, or a trail trim package of a 4Runner. It doesn't have dual climate controls, has seat heaters, not quite of the features of the Limited, which we reviewed a few weeks ago, but it does.
Adjustable seats both sides. Exactly, they still have done a really nice job. And you look at the other review for the interior of the other 4Runner as far as Richard sitting in the back seat. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what the interior of this particular model looks like. We're going to put this back to back with the other 4Runner that we've got. This one also does come with a sunroof, which is kind of a nice feature. It lowers the headroom a little bit when on the inside. But other than that, it's actually nice and works well.
It is, and it's a very. I will say this: driving this car, and as you guys have seen from the driving test, it's a very smooth car to drive. It has a great feel to it. On the inside, it has enough luxury to where you don't feel like you're buying a bare bones car for the money. You're still getting quite a bit of the car for the money, like you mentioned, Dad, the stitching. So this car could be an everyday. And keep in mind with this car, we have been able to average close to 21 miles to the gallon on the highway. So if your commute is mainly highway, keep that in mind versus this is another car. But for what this car is, it is off-road, and you're showing the pre-production prototype sticker. And up here, Dad, I will take note, this is similar to the Trail, that it has your hill climb control and then your different mode selectors for the different type of terrain. So something that will come standard on this car, on this, this model, the TRD Pro model, are those different features. Again, and we'll cover this all. We covered all this in the driving portion, but really has a great in look. And Dad, I guess kind of step in and show people how it's a little bit of a higher step, so we can tell for sure. It is.
It's definitely higher, but still works well. I like the visibility out of it better, even in the standard 4Runner. I think it works well. And again, we don't have all the numbers, all the stats. I don't know if the gear ratio is actually the same on the other 4Runner or not, but it actually runs just as well as the other 4Runners. So with the bigger tires and wheels on it, I've got to believe they did something different with that. It'd be nice to know that for sure. But close us out.
Well, yeah, and one thing, it has same engine, really similar, just a different package. So we'll have more in the video description. But tune into our radio shows on Saturdays, 10 till 1 here in Denver on AM 560 The Source. If you're not in Denver, you can just go to 560thesource.com, hit the Listen Live button, or Listen Now button, and it'll take you right to the radio show. And we're also on YouTube. Drive Radio, which is where you found this. No spaces in the YouTube bar. You'll find all of our different videos. We reviewed quite an array of different vehicles. So that being said, thanks for tuning in, and hope you have a great day.